Hey guys, it's BD from bdoneyewear.com, my website where I offer free eyewear styling, articles on eyewear and optometry, and also where you can shop eyewear. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about my experience as a black optometrist. Someone asked me to make this video months ago, and I was trash and I didn't, because I didn't to be fair, I didn't make anything for ages. So I thought I would just make this video now, just answering the questions that I was asked and giving you guys an insight into my life as a black optometrist. And I'm based in the UK as well, so I don't know if that makes a difference to how like prevalent we are, because I know in the UK there's not that many of us from my personal experience that I've seen besides myself. So yeah. Okay, so the first question is, what microaggressions do you deal with from the rest of the team, especially managers? Now, what I'm going to do is Google the definition of microaggressions just so I can get it right, so I can say exactly what it is, and then we can talk about it, right? Okay, so there's quite a few different definitions. So one of them says, a microaggression is a comment or action that negatively targets a marginalized group of people, right? Something else says a microaggression is an instance of subtle, indirect discrimination against a marginalized group. So basically it's a similar vibes. So do I experience microaggressions? I feel like an example I can give, and it's funny that she mentioned managers because it wasn't a manager in this case. A few of us were like together talking, all talking at the same level, all talking in the same tone, all talking about the same thing. And then the manager was like to me, oh, you know, you're so spicy. Was it spicy? Sassy. He was like, oh, you know, you're really sassy. And I was like, what? Because, and I feel like anyone out there, yeah, who just got that little when I said sassy knows exactly what I mean. Sassy is not, it's never really a positive. It doesn't have positive connotations, right? Sassy is like, oh, that's very sassy, it's that kind of vibe. And as someone who was in the conversation not being sassy, it was like, why of everybody here am I the one that's sassy? Do you get what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, why is this associated with me, despite the fact that I didn't display this kind of thing? And the thing with microaggressions as well is that it can be so easy for someone to gaslight you about a microaggression because they don't see it as anything that's wrong, because obviously they're not the marginalized group, or the negative connotation is not associated with them, so they don't see it as something that's wrong. But like, would you have called someone else sassy in the same situation? And no, you wouldn't have, because you didn't in that situation. It wasn't just me there. Do you see what I mean? So it's not the kind of thing that happens all the time, but it's that when it happens, you're just kind of like, okay, right, okay. So yeah, with microaggressions, like, I feel like it's a sticky one. If you guys have ever experienced microaggressions, write them down in the comment section, or things that you think might have been a microaggression. So another example of a microaggression is when someone is almost like surprised by your ability to do well. So I've had people say,
oh wow, you're really well spoken, like, oh wow, like, you seem really intelligent.
Or like shocked, like, what did you expect? And why did you expect that? Like, why is it a shock to you that as an optometrist, I was good at doing my job? So one thing that happened one time, I remember it so clearly. So I had called this patient through, and he was like, I remember calling his name and he was just looking at me. And I was like, why are you looking at me? We're just looking at each other. Like, do you want your eye test or not? So he came through eventually. He was very like, his vibe was just off. That's just the only way I can describe it. His vibe was just off. And then we did the eye test. And by the end of the eye test, he was like ranting and raving about how great I was, how amazing the sight test was. Oh my goodness, it was so comprehensive. You were so good, so professional. And it's like, what did you expect from the person that called you through? Like, have you had an eye test before and this was not the case? Because it was just, it's like overcompensating. It's like when you deep it, yeah, it looks, on the surface, it looks like it was a compliment that he was paying me. But you really, for some reason or another, thought that you were going to have a rubbish time. You thought it was going to be a terrible experience. You thought I wasn't going to be professional. I wasn't going to be articulate. I wasn't going to be whatever the things that you praised me for. And so because I was those things, those good things, you were like, wow, oh my goodness. And it's not a compliment. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's not a compliment. I really hope you guys can understand what I'm saying, because it's like, how can you think that you like shout, like literally go into the waiting room and be like, oh my goodness, she's amazing, she was so good. But as an optometrist, not supposed to do what they're supposed to do, like. Okay, second question. Any bias from patients about you being a black optom? So thankfully, I have not had any, well, to my face. I've not had anyone say, oh, I don't want to see her. Like, I don't want to see her because she's black, or I don't want to see her for whatever reason. That's never been said to my face. Whether it's been done behind my back, I don't know. I can't speak on that. But that's never happened. I have heard of experiences of people who they say, oh, I want to be seen by the English optom, or I want to be seen by whatever. And people, like, I also think that depends a lot about where you work. I work in London, and I'm from London. And London's very, like, diverse. So people can still say that, of course. But it's not abnormal for there to be like other ethnicities that are working there. It's not a weird thing. When I did my pre-reg, it was white heavy. There was like a lot of white people there, and no one ever said anything like that to me, to my face. But it was like it was, you know, when it's obvious that you're black, like where it's literally just like, you, like, the kids will look at you because they're like, rah, this is weird. And it was kind of like that. But yeah, no one's had that to my face. I've heard of it happening to other people, and not just black people. People who are just not white. I've heard that happening to them as well. And one thing that you kind of get is, oh, where are you from? Where are you really from? Or like sometimes I would troll them because they'll be like, oh, where are you from? Oh, London. Oh, whereabouts? Oh yeah, so when I was born I was like northwest, now I'm like east. Like, I would just say things like that because what are you really trying to ask me, and what has that got to do with me doing your sight test? Or they'll say, oh, how long have you lived here? Oh, your English is really good, like how long have you lived here? Like, first of all, what's one got to do? Like, what's do you want your eyes checked or not? what has that got to do with anything? So I mean, I think anyway. Okay, last question. Do you sometimes feel like people underestimate your ability as a black woman in the field, even members of staff? Okay, so I'm gonna be very, very honest, yeah. I don't know if sometimes I feel people do underestimate my ability. That's not really my problem, that's theirs. But I think sometimes it could be because I'm black. That's definitely a possibility. I think it also could be because I look very, very young. And so I get a lot of people, it's the same thing as like when people ask where I'm from. It's like, how does that benefit you? As in, so when you get your answer, what are you gonna do with that? And what's gonna change? Am I then not gonna be able to do your eye test or not? Do you know what I mean? I say that to say, like, some people also will say, oh, like, you know, how old are you? Or they'll try and be sly with it and be like, oh, when did you graduate? And try and figure it out that way. Even not too long ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I had someone ask me if I just came out of uni, and I've been qualified for 4 years. So I think when people ask these questions, it's because they are underestimating your ability based on your appearance, whether that's your skin color or whether that's how old you look. And so I'm putting the age thing out there because I know that I look really young, and that might influence someone's thoughts about what I can do or how well I can do my job. I do think that being black is also, you don't see many black optometrists, do you know what I mean? And it's like, I know that we're a minority here in the UK. However, I know that I know a lot of black doctors, do you know what I mean? I know a lot of black consultants or accountants, or, you know, that kind of thing. So yes, we're a minority, but we're not as much of a minority as we are when we think about optometrists. I think when I was at uni, there was one other black girl, and since qualifying, I might come across maybe like the optom before me, maybe like an African sounding name or like a black name. I'll be like, okay, cool, that optom's probably black. Do you know what I mean? So there's not that many of us. So people might underestimate your ability in terms of that. Do you know what? I've learned, yeah, not to take anything personally. Very rarely is someone's problem with you about you. Like, it's about them, and you just happen to be the subject of their problem. Like, it's not my problem. Like, if you have a problem with me, you have a problem with yourself, because it's not it's not my issue. So I really try not to take things personally, especially at work. You have to be professional. So I just try and just do my job. Like, I do my job, you know, that kind of thing. So it is like, there are times, I think the microaggressions is the biggest thing. The microaggressions is the biggest thing. I remember one time I was working somewhere, I was having a chat with some of the staff, and I said something like, I think, oh, there was a patient just moving mad. And I was like, wow, the audacity. And then the person I work with was like, oh my gosh, audacity, you know that word? And I was like, because it's like, what are you talking about? I'm actually an optom here. I went to university to get to where I am. Do you know what I mean? So what, you think audacity is a big word that I wouldn't know? Why do you think that? I just think there's a reason. Everything we do, every thought we have comes from somewhere. Do you know what I mean? And it may be like an unconscious bias, or you don't know that you're doing it. But like, Anyway guys, that's my experience as a black optometrist in the UK. Any questions, any comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, I keep forgetting, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Instagram at bdoneyewear, and you can check out the website bdoneyewear.com. You can get free eyewear styling there. Check out my articles and also shop eyewear. I'm working on that page. It's getting there. It's getting there. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm trying to put out videos every Sunday. That is my goal. We'll see how we go. One can only pray and do her best, you know. So yeah guys, see you in the next video.